The new James Bond game 007 First Light was recently revealed, and I'm going to give my first thoughts on it. First off, I'm not the biggest James Bond fan. I have been slowly going through all of the James Bond movies, and I've still only seen the first 4. But I like the idea of a James Bond game since there hasn't been one in a while, and I haven't played any of them, so I'm kind of excited for this, and this also makes me more excited to get through the rest of the movies. For characters and story, this is going to be more of an origin story of him becoming 007, which I know some people weren't wanting, but is a more interesting place to start for this game that differentiates itself from the movies. James Bond himself doesn't look as Bondy right now, seemingly being played by Patrick Gibson, but I think that might change with experience of playing. Making this version not based on any of the movie versions I think was the right choice, and the addition of the scar, which I believe is something from the books, is nice being part of the character we haven't seen on screen before. Other characters we're of course getting are new versions of the classic characters M, Q, Moneypenny and such, but there's also Lenny James in this playing Greenway, who I recognized immediately from The Walking Dead, and I'm curious to see his role in the game as a mentor. And I'm definitely curious to see the main villain, since the Bond movies are known for having very classic villains. And a mention of 009 might give a clue to who the villain is, or at least a villain is, being a rogue agent. There's also what looks like a lot of cool set pieces in this trailer, which looks very fun, including a mention of him doing something in Iceland, which could be a good tutorial mission at the start of the game, and seeing some of his training. Now for gameplay, there's not much of it right now, but this is being made by IO Interactive, known for making the Hitman games, which I've never played myself, but from what I've seen, this does remind me a lot of Hitman from the gameplay and style. It looks like there will be a nice mix of stealth and action, hopefully with a good mix of gadgets, and different choices of options going through the game, especially since I'm not the biggest fan of stealth. What I'm really interested in seeing more of is the driving sections, which we get a little look of in the trailer. So those were my first thoughts on 007 First Light. It definitely has the core Bond elements, and I'm very interested in seeing more and experiencing more James Bond in general, especially in a time when we have no idea when another 007 movie is coming out. But anyway, that's all I have to say. See you next time. Goodbye.